1 week from today, you can probably remember exactly where you were that time last year when you heard the news that Delmar Police Corporal Keith Heacook had died from injuries that he suffered during a vicious attack just days earlier. And while Delmar was shaken to the core, and a lot of us still are, we saw the people of this community come together like they never have before. And in true Delmarva fashion, they're going to do it again next week to honor our fallen hero. We would like to welcome back to Delmarva Life this afternoon the founder of the inaugural Heacook Fest, Mr. Doug Marshall. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in for this. We've been talking extensively before we got started here, and please remember to mention all that stuff that you and I just talked about, because yeah, you are just a tad bit passionate about this. So let's talk about Heacook Fest for just a second. I don't even know where to start asking about it. How did the concept start?
I can tell you how it started. Keith was savagely murdered, back in April. He was attacked on the 25th and died on the 28th. About 6 weeks ago, I asked for a meeting with the mayor, Ben Jordan of Delmar, and we met, and I said, look, we're 6 weeks out from the first year anniversary of Keith being murdered. What can we do? He said, let's go talk to the chief. So we went over and talked to Chief Ivan Barkley, and I basically came up with the concept then, let's have a bonfire, with some small fireworks and grill some hot dogs and just do something at our amphitheater just to honor Keith's memory. So I put a call on my Facebook page for about $10,000 I needed to put on a really good show.
Right. And
it happened within a couple of hours. The Burbage family paid for the fireworks, our local entrepreneur stepped up, and I raised $10,000 immediately. So it came 6 weeks, and 2 days ago, this concept didn't even exist.
And it just popped up, there it is, let's go.
Let's go, because you can't never forget what that man went through for our safety.
Okay, so let me ask you a question that I imagine is a tough one. You were the first civilian on scene.
Yeah, and I'll probably tear, because that's not an event where a normal human, even a police officer, should not go through that.
Right.
I woke up that morning at 5:25, and something told me go for a ride in my truck. I saw the first black Tahoe fly by me with the sirens off but the lights on. I saw them pull into the community that I was developing, and I just creeped down in my van to go over there, and I pulled right into the middle of it. And it's no wonder police officers are so important to the community, because they had a situation under control, but it was chaos. It was just, there was police coming from every direction. It was just nothing that you should ever have to witness.
Yeah, and you told me you set up coffee for...
When I got there, there was 4, maybe 5 police cars there, and the ambulance for the Franklins. And it's absolutely amazing that the Franklins survived that attack.
Just as a quick reminder, this was the family across the street.
Across the street,
right,
correct.
Okay.
So they were attacked, I guess, before Keith was murdered. So again, Facebook and social media is really important, and communication. In my generation, and probably yours as well,
yeah.
I put on Facebook, I need to feed police officers. And again, that started growing on Facebook. I said, and then next thing, 5 police turned into 10 to 20 to 50 to 100. There was probably 150 cars there. And so 2 families showed up, Vicky and Tom Rohr and Angel Calloway from Delmar, showed up with food in baskets. So it started sprinkling rain.
Right.
It was cold.
Right.
We set up a tent on my work van and fed all those officers. And you can't believe the look on their face. But as they arrested that young man, he was closer than I am to you right now.
Right.
I would just happen to be in the middle of all that. And watching his expressions and watch how the police handled it absolutely forever changed my life.
So let me ask you this real quick. Do you feel like the community, a year later, is still showing support?
I can't say yes in a thorough enough way.
Right.
The energy, the media support, again, had 5 radio interviews yesterday and 2 TV interviews. We really are happy to see that this narrative of a pro-law enforcement event has really taken growth the way it has, and I'm very honored to be involved with that. I'm very, very passionate about the mental health of police and what they've done. That man was at my house a week earlier having it's hard to even rehash when you see him on the screen like this, but not everybody knows, but I had planned to go into law enforcement. When Eddie Plank was killed, I was finishing up my Criminal Justice Academy classes.
Maryland State Trooper 20...
That was in 1996?
96, that's right.
96, 97.
Yeah.
And his backup that day, who I still see to this day, that really made me stay in the auction business instead of going into law enforcement, but I've always felt that I have a need to help these police officers understand that they're, this was an isolated event,
right,
but we support you.
Right.
And you have to commit. Once you decide to have an event like this, you have to commit to all the things that go along with it, and I will do it.
Thank you for sharing all of this, because I know this is close to your heart. Thank you for sharing all this. I want to talk to you more about Heacook Fest 2022. Can you hang on just a second?
I absolutely can.
All right, hang on for me. Don't you go anywhere either, Delmar, but Life will be right back. We are approaching the one-year anniversary of the murder of our hometown hero, Corporal Keith Heacook. Doug Marshall here, whom you have already met, is the founder of the upcoming 2022 Heacook Fest that we are proud to be talking about today. Doug?
Morning.
The event takes place Thursday, April 28th, the year to the day Corporal Heacook took his final breath.
Yep.
That was a hard question to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you promised you weren't going to make me cry.
I know, sorry, I back up. Tell us, we're talking about Heacook Fest. Tell us about some of the big draws you got coming in.
So in the and yeah, you got me pretty early on that one, but that's okay. I was adamant about April 28th, this event. People were asking, why are you doing it on a Thursday night and not a Friday night?
Right.
Well, number one, Keith was ambushed in that house Sunday morning, the last week of his duty in Delmar Police, right? He was taking another job. So he did not select to be murdered that morning. So I said I wanted to make sure 1 year to the day of his passing, we had this concert. So it has really grown, and I'm hoping to see a lot of support. Even though it's a Thursday night, we have a tremendous lineup. Bands start at 6 o'clock. We have a DJ with a light show. We have a bonfire, we have fireworks, and I'd make sure the viewers that are around the Delmar area, make sure you know that these are 2 and 3+ inch fireworks. So make sure you put your dogs away, because sometimes people will get on social media and they'll blast us for their the cats are not happy about this.
Right.
We have an unbelievable band called Steal the Sky that's from 8 to 10. We're hoping that the Maryland State Police are going to have a little surprise for us.
Oh,
and
good.
I think you'll see some superb auction items. It's really taken a life of its own at this point.
Okay, so tell me about the foundation. Tell me what the foundation is. Tell me what the foundation is not.
So when launching this concert, we wanted to make sure that all the funds went to a nonprofit.
Right.
Kyle Hughes, who's the owner of Kyle and Barn, he's donated the venue for the next 3 years. This year, the money will go to the Corporal Keith Heacook Memorial Scholarship, which lives at the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.
Okay.
And we put this show on for free for the public. We had, I could list my 10 sponsors. I won't get them all out here, but like the Burbage family, the Wilkins, they stepped up and paid for everything to make this event free for the public. So you'll come through the gate, you'll make a deposit or a donation, hopefully, to the Community Foundation of Eastern Shore. That scholarship funds local students going into the field of first responders.
Okay.
And that's where that money goes. And it's tax deductible at a certain amount.
Right.
You can find the information on the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore website, and they are fantastic people to work with.
So please attend the event and bring your money with you. That was pretty clear, wasn't it?
That's clear.
Okay. All this time we've been talking about all of this. Give me the wheres and the whens.
April 28th at the Kyle and Barn and the Heron Ponds Amphitheater, which adjoin each other. It's right behind the Walgreens and the Wawa in Delmar. You hit State Line Road, Route 54 they call it.
Right.
Off of 13, you turn east, and we're right there on the right.
Gotcha.
And you'll park there. You won't be able to miss the parking attendants. It starts at 6. We have a Jeep event within the amphitheater. So the amphitheater seats about 5,000 people, but we reserved it for Jeeps only. So we're going to have a bonfire with the laser light show down at the bottom. The Jeeps will line the amphitheater, and then you'll be able to see the bands perform down in Kylan from the amphitheater. So It's on Dusty Lane in Delmar, Maryland.
Gotcha.
Dusty Lane.
Doug Marshall, thank you again for being so committed, for doing this for Corporal Keith Heacook and, of course, the family and all first responders, all police. You are an incredible man, and I truly appreciate what you do. Thank you for talking to us about it.
Thank you for having me, and spread the word.
Take care of yourself, sir.
I will.
Appreciate that very much.